This morning we pray the Mass for Frank Blatnick. Is anybody here from the family? Okay. Is that your husband, your father? Yeah, I grew up in St. Philip and James, and my parents died 2002, and mother was here at, Manor Care. And dad was next door for quite a while, but mom had dementia. Dad was Edward, my mother was Veronica. And mother had dementia. My dad died February 24th, 2002. And thank God my mother died 11 days later. It was great because of the fact that, she didn't really know who we were. And as my brother said, how romantic. They were married 62 years. Edward came back for Veronica. My mother's up in heaven doing the polka with Betty Mader from St. Emmerich's. My dad's in the buffet line. Put more butter in the potatoes, okay? Anyways, today we're going to talk about the Blessed Mother. I have breakfast with a nurse I know from St. Charles, and I said, could we have supper? She's, my son's going to his prom, and she works at Mount Alverna. She's got twins. Girls that are 15 and another daughter. But she says, since the prom is tonight, let's have breakfast, because I'm helping everywhere. We're short-handed for priests. You better keep praying. Father Oles, I know, is by himself here, and I see Mike Franz every so often, and Father Pendekar, he used to take care of my parents. So yeah, we're short-handed. The average age is 65. I'm 68. Mary, Queen of the Apostles. When did you get to know our Blessed Mother? At Christmas time, we hear the beautiful quote, Mary treasured all these things and reflected on them in her heart. It's time in our life where most of us are mature Catholics. I don't use other words. Mature Catholics. I won't say old because I'm there, but mature Catholics. We brought up in a family, a tradition that had time for the Blessed Mother, even before we had evening Mass. When I grew up at St. Philip and James, we would serve novenas. I think Monday or Wednesday, they might have rotated it, in honor of the Blessed Mother. Miraculous Medal. Now, I know you have some prayers afterwards, but it's kind of a tight schedule this morning. I feel like Hertz rent a priest, but I look back at my life when I was serving. I was going through a lot of scrupulosity. You worry about everything. I was the youngest of three. I had loving parents, but I don't know why we had such a fear of the Lord, which is, it's a balance. That means awe. But when I was going through this, I remember the Memorare. I was having Mass last night at St. James. And I was mentioning, I says, I remember when I was real anxious, real nervous, I'd say the Memorare. Even now when I'm driving on 480, people drive like it's NASCAR. And I find it so relaxing to say the Hail Mary. A friend of mine says, you listen to the rosary? I said, no, they talk too fast. When I'm praying in the car, it's Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Okay? It's much slower. I remember some of the rosaries I have, and sometimes we just get too hurried. But as a child, I remember at Annunciation on 130th, which is now closed, we would pray the rosary, or my mother would give me the rosary because I was like 3 or 4 and she'd give me something to play with. And I'd lower Jesus down on the cross and I'd raise him up. I'd lower him down. Some of the traditions we have are so important. I went to a Cathedral Latin and we had the Marianists, the Society of Mary. And I think at times we have to reflect, like Mary, on our tradition. Now, I was at Our Lady of Angels for 5 years. I was talking to one of the teachers last night, I don't usually talk on the phone when I'm driving, so I pulled in. The kids are having after-school care. And I said to the teacher, when I was at OLA, I mentioned, I said, we're in honor of the Blessed Mother, Our Lady of Angels. So I asked the parishioners to bring in whatever religious article or item they had of Mary. We had yadros, hummels, paintings, wood carvings. But the last week, my committee, about 10 people, I said, we've only got 20 things. They said, don't worry about it. It was the birthday of Mary, September 8th. Don't worry about it. We ended up with 200 pieces of art, and I have it on video. Later on, I realized I saved Christmas cards of the Blessed Mother, all of them different, for 30, 35 years. I saw a teacher the other day that I worked with at St. William's, and I told her, I said, I got all these cards. She says, let me borrow them. She put them on a video and a DV, but added Franz Schubert's Ave Maria, Gounod's Ave Maria, Gentle Woman, Salve Regina. So now I have about a 15-minute display of the Blessed Mother, all these beautiful cards. Some of them are clever. I have one that I got enlarged for a friend of mine. She had a couple of miscarriages, but Mary, I remember Mary's first communion. Now she's a married woman. And I gave her a picture of Jesus that I bought in Washington, D.C. at the National Shrine. And Jesus has got a little tinge of red hair, and he looks like he's mischievous. Mary's holding him. He's got an apple in his hand. He looks like, like he was goofing around. And I got it enlarged. It was a little card. I got it enlarged. I got about 4 copies of it now. But I took it to Office Max. And I got it framed, so I gave it to Mary because she finally had a second child healthy. So, whatever your religious experience is, hand the tradition on. When my mother had dementia, I prayed more and more to Mary because she could understand me. One last comment. I was driving over here from Westlake. I saw an airplane with a commercial on the back, a banner. CHOC. I guess that has to do with Mally's candy. I don't know, chocolate. CHOC. Don't you think we should have an airplane today with MARY? Amen. Please stand.